Hello my friends, in this video I'm going to give you a quick tour of Procreate. So when you open Procreate, this is your gallery where all your artworks are stored. And if you want to start a new project, the best way to do that is to go to the plus sign and choose screen size. So the first thing we're going to do is pick out a brush and we're going to draw a little chicken together. So you're going to do a big pinch and you can actually see multiple libraries. So I'm in the classic library and I'm going to find calligraphy on the left, and the monoline is a great brush if you're not sure what brush to use. Great, so I have the brush picked out and then I'm going to pick out the color. So I have a little circle here and I'm going to pick out a black color. So this slider controls the size. Let's put our size at 30%. So you'll see that number there. And that's basically all you need to know to get started drawing. So here you can see why I picked this line. It's perfect for cartooning and drawing different little objects. But what I really wanted to show you was this undo button. Undo is going to rescue you in many situations. So you can see I can go back in time. Now, the number one thing that frustrates new Procreate artists is when their brush stops working. So if that ever happens to you, the first thing you're going to do is check this slider here. If this is all the way down to the bottom, your brush is going to be invisible and it's going to make it look like you can't draw. So you're going to check that. If you run into any other frustrating problems, I have a help library linked below with many of the most common issues you'll run into. So you can check that out. So another wonderful thing about Procreate is that you can draw some shapes. So I'm going to draw something that looks like a circle, and watch this. If I hold my pen down, it actually becomes a nice shape that I can control. So I don't want the base of my chicken to be like an oval. I want it to be more like a proper circle. And that brings me to my next point. As much as you can, try and avoid gaps because that's going to let the color escape. So I'm going to leave that there so I can show you a little bit later. And then I'm going to draw the comb on my chicken. So the comb is going to go up like this. So do your best to kind of follow along. And then maybe it's going to go into the chicken a little bit and then connect all the way back. So it looks like the comb is on my chicken. Now let's pick out a good eraser. So we're going to go to the eraser, and you can pick out the same brushes for your eraser. So again, I'm in the classic library and I'm going to go to airbrushing. All the good erasers are here. And the very last one is a great one, the hard airbrush. You can actually just keep your eraser on that. That's always a good choice. And we're going to set the size. So I have about 10% set for my size. And we want to really zoom in and rotate our canvas as we're working. That's going to be really helpful for you as a beginner. So I'm going to take this line and I'm going to erase it. Okay, so now that we're done erasing, we're going to switch back to our brush and I'm going to draw some more ovals for my eyes. So I'm going to hold down. So I'm going to do 2 ovals side by side. Because of the way I drew my comb, my chicken's face is going to be pushed a little bit to the left. Don't worry about coloring in those circles. We're going to come back to that. And then I'm just going to add a little beak here. That's going to look like this. Okay, great. So we're actually almost done. We're going to add some feet to the bottom and then some wings to the side like this. We're now ready to color in our chicken. So let's pick out the color that we want. So I'm going to go into the yellow section here and pick out kind of a off-white. Once you have the color, all you're going to do is take this little circle, drag it and drop it. This is called color fill and it is really amazing. I'm also going to color in this little arm here. But sometimes your color is going to spill out like this. Can you see why that's happening? So I can see it there. There's a little gap that I created to show you. So I'm just going to close that gap like that. And that's going to allow me to keep the color exactly where I want it. So let's finish coloring in our chicken. Another reason that I really like monoline is if you make your brush bigger, you can just tap it to get the perfect little reflections in eyes. There's just a couple more things that I wanted to show you. So the layers are really important to Procreate. So you can see my chicken is on layer 1, and I can make more layers with the plus sign. I can also copy my layer. So if you go to layer 1 and swipe left, you can duplicate your chicken. And then this arrow lets you move things in Procreate. So I can take my arrow and all of a sudden I have 2 chickens. These little blue circles let you make objects smaller. And you can see because of the layers, the chickens overlap really nicely like this. So now we can make a family of chickens. So the last thing we're going to do for our project is we're going to go to our layers and tap on the background color, and then you can pick a nice color for your project. So that's Procreate in a nutshell, and you don't have to worry about saving your artwork. If you go to Gallery here, you're going to go back to the main screen, and all of your artwork is stored and saved here. And that's it, my friends. Thanks for hanging out with me. I hope you had fun and picked up a few new Procreate tricks along the way.